Magnetic woman presents the super content, captivate men by being a challenging woman. Did you know that men are driven by challenges? When a guy is faced with a challenging woman, that is, an interesting woman who doesn't give him the slightest attention, he is immediately compelled to act in any way possible to get her attention. Do you know that saying, we love to desire more than we love the object of our desire? What does that mean? It means that usually we enjoy the desire itself more. That is the journey that motivates us, that drives us, that leads us to what we want, than the actual thing itself. Based on this, what happens is that men, unconsciously, are attracted to women who present themselves as a challenge to them. Just take a moment to observe yourself and notice how you usually tend to want to get the attention of those people who are harder to reach, especially those who seem less accessible to you. And I'm not talking here about being challenging in the sense of, I'm going to pull a knife on the guy, insult him, act tough, or walk around with a constant scowl on my face, all closed off from everyone, and so on. Here, interpret being hard to get as being someone intelligent, with subtle, mysterious, and even playful moves. Let me give you an example of a challenge. Let's say the two of you went out to dinner, and at the end of the night you say goodbye with a kiss on the cheek, and of course, he'll be left wanting to grab you. You promptly look at him and say, hold on, we just met. I want to get to know you a little better before I taste you. See, in this sentence, you immediately say that you liked him and that you will taste him. In other words, you've already given him the green light, but you also put him in his place, meaning you're the one calling the shots. Do you see the difference? This is the kind of challenge I suggest you give him, always with good humor and in a playful way. Understand that men love challenges, they love being intrigued, they love bets, they love completing tasks, they want to prove themselves, and so on. And so on. All of this is part of a man's nature. After all, they are driven by ego, dopamine, and testosterone. So you need to learn how to inject just the right doses of these emotional substances into them so that your conversation, your environment, your moments together don't end up being just ordinary and trivial talk. In the same way, when you present yourself as a challenge to be conquered, he immediately feels intrigued and attracted to you. But if you make it clear right from the start that he has already won the game, then he will tend to abandon it. That's because the challenge appears to be over. How many times have I heard men say the following phrase, I didn't even take it further, I just wanted to make sure she was already mine. This means he jumped ship when the challenge was over. Have you ever noticed that men love to be around other men? Do you know why? Because they challenge each other all the time. Their conversations always revolve around bragging rights. Men get together to challenge each other and boast among themselves, which is quite different from women. When guys are alone, for example, they're totally fine with it and even enjoy it. Let's understand the male cycle here. He isolates himself, stays in his own little world, and only comes out when he wants to hunt, that is, when he has some need. Then once he's satisfied, he goes back and withdraws again. Have you ever noticed that? In contrast, women want to plan together, be together, go out as couples, and so on. And so on. And so on. Unless he is absolutely head over heels in love with you, he will usually prefer the company of his friends or even being alone rather than sharing a moment as a couple or even with family. Yes, men are strange creatures. Most of the time they're selfish. But look, I'm not saying this is a flaw of theirs. Not at all. It's just their nature. And when a woman understands that the fact a guy wants to be alone doesn't mean he wants to avoid her company or that he doesn't like her, life becomes much easier for her because she starts to realize that it has nothing to do with her or his feelings for her, but rather with things that have to do with him and his own nature. That's where the challenge comes in, because once a woman makes herself interesting and challenging, once she unsettles him with the possibility of attracting other men, once she creates that insecurity in him when he realizes that if the woman is alone or out with her friends, she's going to attract the attention of other men, right? That is usually the time when he will want to be with her all the time. All of this is to mark his territory because that's also part of his nature. So be smart and learn how to challenge him. Remember that challenge is an irresistible attraction for men, and a woman who knows how to use this in just the right measure will certainly have a man who is much more willing by her side. And if you found that these tips and steps were highly interesting and want to apply many more like them in your life right now, simply click the button below or ask for the link via direct message. Certainly, by delving much deeper into these profound teachings that Vanessa de Oliveira generously shares with you through her courses, you will become a truly powerful and confident woman. So click the button below or ask for the link via direct message.